Today's thoughts on today's topics.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You're talking with me, Shawnee B. Today's topic that we're going to talk about is light skin versus dark skin. The reason that I actually wanted to discuss this topic was because in my community, African American community, there's a huge issue with it. I think the problem really lies in, honestly, slavery, because back in the times when slavery was existing, there was a dark skin, light skin complex. The lighter you were, the closer you were to the house, or the lighter you were in the house. And the darker you were, the more likely you would be out in the fields. And then that's when the jealousy complex came to be. And I think what a lot of slaves didn't realize at that time is that being in the house wasn't all it was cracked up to be either. In the house, you pretty much were someone's sex slave 9 times out of 10, and you pretty much got raped 9 times out of 10. And I know some slaves in the field got raped as well, but the complex back in those times were the lighter you were, the prettier you were, because the closer you were to white. And so for some reason, that complex still continues on to this day. And it's sad to me. Like, it's genuinely sad, because we already, as African Americans or biracial people, we already have enough on our plate. And I think it's wrong that we continue to fight with each other to try to achieve. It's kind of like a crab in the barrel complex. I think maybe, and I'm not speaking for anybody on this at all, because I don't know, and not everybody thinks the same way, but I'm thinking that maybe darker skinned people still, because slavery, honestly, as an African American, slavery messed us up mentally. It messed us up. And so our complex is always, usually, the lighter you are, the better you think you are. The lighter you are, the more you're going to get. And it gives us all a crabs in a barrel complex. And we shouldn't be that way. Absolutely not. We shouldn't be that way. And I wish we could kind of switch our mind frames. I love how now Beyonce has a song called Brown Skin Girl. So then everyone in my community, it makes everyone feel loved. And for me, growing up, I never had that light skin, dark skin complex, because I've always been in an area where I got along with everyone. For one thing, it started in the home. My dad's on the browner side. He's a little bit darker than me. And my mom's on the light skin side. She's lighter than I am. I'm right in the middle between them perfectly, so you know. But so in my household, skin tone was never brought up. Race really was never brought up. It didn't matter to us. We just lived life. And I think one of the best things that I had growing up was having a biracial best friend, because I saw all aspects of different cultures. And not only is she biracial, mixed with black and white, her dad is actually African, from Africa. So I got to experience the Kenyan culture as well growing up. And I always say I thank my parents and I thank her parents, because I got to experience so many things without being worried about prejudiceness or being showed prejudice, anything prejudice in this world, because that's just where I grew up. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, and that's like a mixed pot of some of everybody, including different types of sexualities. I grew up seeing transgender people. I grew up seeing gay people. I grew up seeing the majority of the LGBTQ plus community, because that was just what Washington, D.C. was. It was a melting pot in my area. It was a beautiful thing. And And I'm very proud of where I come from. And I know that I say this generally to like my family members, but I'm so, so, so glad that where I grew up was such a mixed melting pot that I didn't get to experience anything that is too bad on the racial side or too bad on whatever your sexuality is side. I also know that when I first got to North Carolina, because I've been coming to North Carolina since I was a small young girl with my mom's family. But when I first got to North Carolina, I got to understand more so how much more race mattered in the South than it does where I'm from. It's like we have our group of white people here, we have our group of black people here, we have our group of different people over here, and then you may see some intermingling with each other every once in a while, but it's not the same. You definitely have, like, I feel like a segregation. There's a difference, and it's hard for me to explain the difference being from Washington, D.C., because I see it, but then other people might not realize or recognize what I see because they're so used to one thing or the other. I think if people were put in different elements, then they might understand what I mean. But it was different when I got here. And then what I also loved about growing up in an area where nobody talked about skin tone and anything like that was that I got the chance to experience different cultures without any type of prejudiceness. And I was young too, so I had no kind of prejudiceness placed in me from my parents or anyone else. So when I experienced something, it was just like a new experience. And to this day, I love to experience different cultures. I love to learn about different cultures because it's just the environment that I grew up in. I don't go in judging anybody's culture. It's fun to me because that's how I grew up. So when I get to meet someone that's different, to me, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. And I wish that we had more of that in the world as well. I always talk about how I wish the world was a better place, and I really, really do. It would be beautiful. It would be beautiful if we all just accepted each other. It really would. Also, I've noticed too, when it comes to dark-skinned women, they are not taken up for. I think even honestly, of course, lighter women that are not white are not taken up for as much as white women. And I hate to say it that way because it sounds really bad. And I don't take any offense, and I don't mean that in any manner. But I just noticed that, like, as you grow up, and this is including white people, Indian people, Chinese people, any Asian person, anyone. I have noticed that as you go up on the chain, the lighter you get, the better you're treated. And that's in any race. And I don't know what it is. I guess it's the European complex of the closer you are to being white, as I've stated, or European, the better you look to. And I really wish that we all took the time to understand and took the time to learn each other, because I'm telling y'all, if you ain't never experienced another culture, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's like a whole new world. Like, you open yourself up to a whole new world, a different world, and you become more educated and more knowledgeable in whatever that culture is. And it's great. And you can take those teachings and you can teach your children. You can teach other family members. You can teach them how to cook things, how to wear things. It's nice. And honestly, everyone needs to experience it. But back on the skin tone. I've noticed that your skin tone, as much as we hate to say this in our African American community, your skin tone matters to a lot of people. a lot of people. I am, as you can see, more so on the lighter side. So I probably would get more advantages than someone else that is on the darker side. And it's sad, and I will admit it, but it's really sad. I never, ever put myself in a field to feel like I'm better than anyone. I never have. I'll tell you every flaw about me in a heartbeat. I don't care. I never have really cared about much. I think that came from growing up being a tomboy and just not giving a care. I just don't care. And I don't really care. I also had a household where I was taught not to care what anybody thinks about me. So I don't care what anyone thinks about me. I'm going to be me. I can be stubborn. I'm a really sweet person. But I'm not perfect. And neither is anybody else. And there are plenty of people like me who may have darker skin that are the exact same personality as me. But if I cop an attitude, now, let me put it this way. If I cop an attitude and I'm trying to be, not really cop an attitude, but if I'm trying to be stern, I'm going to be taken as a joke, period, point blank. I'm black and I'm a woman. I'm going to be taken as a joke. And also, I'm on the lighter side. So I'm taken as a joke, if I try to be stern about something. Now, if someone that is of darker tone with me, that's a woman, she could be talking the same way that I'm talking just to stand up for herself, just to let people know it's not a game, just to let people know that she needs to be respected. And she's going to be considered the angry black woman faster than I will. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll be considered an angry black woman too, because at the end of the day, I'm black. And if I have something to say in a room full of people that are not black or not of a minority, I'm going to be looked at as the angry black woman. But if me and that darker skinned woman are in the same area and we both have the same attitude and we both trying to stand up for ourselves because we know something may be wrong or we know that we shouldn't be treated a certain way, I'm going to be closer to being laughed at. And she's going to be the angry black woman that everybody claims to be so scared of. When all she's doing is standing up for herself and all she's doing is showing that she loves herself. And I don't know, to this day, I don't know and I don't understand why we have that complex. I don't. And even when it comes to black men, a light-skinned man is seen as easy and he's probably nice. He got a bunch of girls and he treat them sweet and this and this and this. But a dark-skinned man, somebody sees a dark-skinned man, oh no, he is everything wrong. He's probably a drug dealer. Oh, he beats women. Oh, he's just this and he's that and he's probably just mean and he's not a good guy. But something I will say that I noticed with both light skin and dark skin men is let either one of them step on an elevator with someone that's not African American. And I have actually seen women clutch their purses in elevators. I've seen women, and I ain't talking about African American women. Don't take any offense to what I'm saying, but I'm just telling you guys the truth. And I've seen them scoot over. I've seen them draw up. I've seen them get nervous. And it's just the honest truth. It's the honest truth. I kind of feel like, okay, let's take the time to understand each other. Because you can easily talk to that person and get a feel for who they are or who they're not. And they could be terrible, terrible people. But they could also be one of the sweetest men you have ever met. That's why we have to learn to figure out each other and figure out who we are as human beings, not by the way we look on the outside. It's not about the looks. It's not about the looks at all. And I also have noticed that we can have a white man come on that same elevator, suit on, everything, and nobody does anything. But guess what? That white man could have killed about 15 women last night. You know, I just think we all need to learn each other as people. We need to learn each other as human beings, and we need to love. And I know I always say this, but again, we need to love. And that's wrong with us today. That's really what's wrong with us today. Well, guys, I hope you learned a little bit of something from what I spoke about. I'm not a professor or anything like that. I just state my opinion. And I hope we learn from each other. We also teach each other. Make sure you get out today and you learn about a different culture, because I promise you, it'll be the best experience you ever had. But today, that was my thoughts on today's topic of light skin versus dark skin. Thanks for watching, guys.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.